Hi and welcome to Javasi Maths. My name is Gavin and I'm going to be assisting you with your math problems today. So today we're going to be speaking about rounding off. Right, so today we're specifically looking at rounding off to the nearest 10. Now this is important. Why do we say so? So a lot of our students, unfortunately, when they get into exam, either misread the question or don't read it properly, and they'll end up rounding off to either the nearest 100 or 1,000 or unit, and they lose valuable marks in the exam where they could have got easy marks. So first of all, make sure that when you're in the examination or in a test, make sure what they are asking you to round off to. Is it a 10? Is it a 100? Is it 1,000? Is it a 50? What are they asking you to round off to? So today we're going to speak about specifically rounding off to the nearest 10. So, okay, when you round off to the nearest 10, we must be able to identify what the nearest 10 is. So, for example, if they say to you in examination, round off to the nearest 10 for 4. So here we have a 4. We want to round it off to the nearest 10. So what we suggest is on a piece of paper, a piece of scrap paper that you have with you in the examination, write down the number sequence or the number line. So you should know that 4 will fall between 0 and 10. Okay, so that's important. We must be able to identify that. When we count in tens, we say 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, but 0 can also be part of that. We could say 0, 10, 20, 30, 40. Also, we should be able to identify that we only have one of two answers. It's either going to be 0 or it's going to be 10. When you round off to the nearest 10, it must have a 0 on the end. It cannot be a 9 or an 8 or a 7 or a 6. It can only be one of those two. So that makes it a lot easier. Now we have two questions here that we want to have a very careful look at. The one is the unit number smaller than 5? And the second is the unit number 5 or greater? So when we speak about a unit number, we're talking about individual numbers. So 1 is a unit number, 2 is a unit number, 3 is a unit number, and so forth. So the first question says, is the unit number smaller than 5? So in other words, 5 is excluded. 5 is not included in that. So in other words, 0 to 4 is the number between 0 and 4. Then the second question says, is the unit number 5 or greater? So in other words, 5 is included. Is it 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10? So here is a divide. We can split our number line there. We have the right side and we have the left side. Okay, please excuse my handwriting. Right, so if they've asked us to round it to 4, 4 is obviously on this side of the line. So what is that? So let's get a better understanding. Right, so it says, is the unit number smaller than 5? If the answer is yes, then take it back to 0. So if we split it and it was a 4, we're going to take it back to 0. Remember, it can only be one of two answers. Then we come here, is the number unit 5 or greater? If the answer is yes, say if they asked us to round off 6 to the nearest 10, then the answer is 10. So you only have one of two answers that you are going to give. And this line will make it very easy to decide which one it is. Right, so here we have the number 4. They're asking us to round number 4 off to the nearest 10. We've already answered that. It will go down to 0 because it falls on the left-hand side of the line. It is smaller than 5. It's not 5 and higher. It is smaller than 5, so its answer will be 0. Remember, we only have one of two answers that we can give. Right, so here we are. They're asking us to do 7. Again, we split it between 4 and 5. 7 is 5 or higher, so it goes up to one of two possible answers, and in this case it will be rounded off to 10. So it also falls on the right hand side of the line. Okay, yeah, we've got a 2. So again, we split it there. Okay, 2 smaller than 5. So on the left hand side of the line, it needs to go down to 0. Okay, we have a 9. So we're going to put a split between 4 and 5. 9 definitely bigger than 5. It must be rounded off to 10. So by now I'm sure you're going to see this is so nice and easy, uncomplicated, easy to do. Right, a 5 is a difficult one for a lot of students because it can either go that way or it can go that way. So students often get confused with the 5, they're not sure. But with our technique, we know we split it between the 4 and the 5, and if it falls on the right hand side of that line, or if it is a 5 and larger number, then we round it up. So it will go to 10, and the answer will be 10. Right, so now we're coming to the teens. Now we're coming to double digits. We asked to round 11 off to the nearest 10. So again, identify your tens. If you're counting tens, 0, 10 will be my 1, and 20 will be my other one. So we should know that 11 falls between those two, and we can do our number sequence here. Some younger students might find it difficult to identify where to split the number line because of the double numbers. Ignore the front number. Just concentrate on the back number. Yeah, we have 1, 2, and you see it's just like normal counting. 3, 4, oh, there's a 5. Very nice. So we know we split it between 4 and 5. So we don't have to say is 11 greater or smaller than 15, which might confuse some. No, we can say is 1 bigger or smaller than 5. Okay, well, it's clearly smaller. It's also on the left-hand side of the line. So we only have one of two answers. It's either 10 or 20. Obviously, this one is going to be rounded off down to 10. Very nice, very easy, uncomplicated. Here we have a 14. So we split it in the middle, and automatically we know it's on the left. It's smaller than 15. It must go down to 10. And so it just gets easier and easier. We split it there. We know 7 is greater than 5, so it must go up to 20. Here we have a 19. Again, 9 greater than 5, rounded up to 20. We always know in our number line we only have 1 or 2 possible answers, and it depends on which side of the line it falls. So here we've got the 14 and 15, left, right hand side. We see 13 or 3, smaller than 5, gets rounded off down to 10. And I can tell you, you'll definitely get 100% if you do it this way. Right, we split it there, even though it's 15 or a 5, that confuses some. Because we know that the line must be split between the 4 and the 5, it becomes easy. We know that if it falls on this side of the line, it must be rounded up to its closest 10, which in this case is 20. Right, so let's change it a bit. We're going up into the 50s now. So if they say round 54 to the nearest 10, or round to the nearest 10 for 54, okay, we should know 54 will fall between 50 and 60. So those are our two tens. You know, when we count in tens, excuse my space, please. If we count in tens, it's going to be 40, 50, 60, 70, and so forth. So very, very easy. Those are our two answers. Again, ignore the 5. Just concentrate on the 1, 2, 3. There's my 4. There's my 5. I split it down the middle there, so it falls on the left-hand side. 4 is smaller than 5, therefore it must be rounded down to 50. And here we have a 98. Okay, this is an important one because students do get confused with this. Okay, to identify our two tens, by now it should be easy. You know, they're on the two ends of the line. So if they say round off to the nearest 10 for 98, You should know 98 falls between 90 and 100. Now, the 100 sometimes confuses our students. Because now they think, oh, no, I'm not dealing with tens anymore. Now I'm dealing with hundreds. But that's not the case. We're still dealing with tens because we're counting in tens. We got 90, 100, 110, 120, 130. So we're still counting in tens. And this is very important to recognize that we are counting in tens. So let's have a look at this. So again, there's my 1, there's my 2, there's my 3, there's my 4. There's my 5. I'll split it between 4 and 5. 8 is obviously greater than 5. And so I'm going to round it up to the nearest 10, which in this case is 100. Okay, so yeah, we change it up now. We're moving up in the hundreds. Okay, so here we've got 110, and here we've got 120. So when we're counting in tens, 110, 120, 130, 140, those are our two possible answers. When we're looking where to split our number line, we ignore the first two numbers. We look at the 1, we look at the 2, we look at the 3, we look at the 4. Okay, this is where it's going to come because there's 5. And so very important, if we see here, the 4 is definitely smaller than the 5, so that's going to be rounded down to 110. And I'm sure by now you're flying through this with me. It's quite simple. So yeah, we know already it must get split there. 8's larger than 5, so that will go up to 120 and so forth. Right, so now let's get a really difficult one. We're going up into the 2000s. Now, remember with this, the 2 is your 1000, the 5 is your 100, the other 5 is your 10, and the 7 is your unit. So really in this, all we're interested in is these last two digits because we're working in tens. So we must remember that even though it's such a large number, we still count in tens. So we've got 2,550, and we'll go to 2,560, and we'll go on 2,570, 2,580. So we know 2,557 falls between those two numbers. And so when we want to know where to split our number line, we just look at the last digit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we know it must get split there. We look at the last digit. 7 is greater than 5, or it's 5 and greater. And so the number must be rounded up to only one of two possible answers, which will be 2,560. Right, here's a final example of one. So we know already we split it there. 2 is less than 5, and so we're going to round it off down to 2,550. Well, thanks for watching this video with us. I hope it was helpful and informative, and I'm sure if you apply this technique of using that number line, you'll get full marks for rounding off to 10. So if you enjoyed the video, if you found it informative, please press the like button and the subscribe button. And for now, this is Gavin signing off and saying cheers till later.